When it comes morning to the mat, I'm sitting in Siddhasana, which is a fairly specific yoga seated pose where you cross at the shins and you take the feet out very wide. So you're trying to maximize the rotation in the hips and the thighs. You can even lift the bowl a little bit to get a bit more rounded onto the cheeks. And the front shin bone really wants to just follow the line, parallel line of your mat and cross over whichever way you wish. And we're using the block underneath just so that we're a little bit able to get a little bit more purchase onto the sitting bones and get the spine into more of a neutral position above the pelvis. So for some of us who are a little bit tight in the hips, this position will actually push your pelvis backwards a little bit. So you'll be tilting. So you're going to have to make a conscious effort to draw the hip bones forwards at the top of your waistband towards the front that you're sitting, and that will just lift your spine up. Rather than trying to lift your spine up, take it from the sort of lowest point in the body. And then we'll just breathe. Let ourselves relax. As props today, I've also got a strap ready by the side of the mat. Consider your head position. Quite often we forget that when we're sitting up tall, the head is part of the spinal column. It just happens to be the big bone that sits on the top. Allowing the breath to slow down, allow your thoughts to slow down, let your heart settle if you've just come into the class. Breathing through the belly, letting the belly expand from low down. And we'll change seating positions a little bit. Allow ourselves to stretch those legs out. And this time we're going to bring the heels right in towards the groin. Not crossing the ankles, we're just bringing both heels in towards the body to get the shins onto the ground. Open those hips a little wider into the groins. Whilst we're here, we'll lean forwards off of the block. And let ourselves place the hands to the floor. So spreading the fingers out. And making an effort to press the knuckles down to the floor. So really stretching out the palm of the hand. Just a little bit of weight bearing down at the same time. Take a breath from there and then turn the fingers out, thumbs are forwards. And again, with a concentrated effort to press knuckles down. Now I find that in my body more of a challenge than when the fingers are pointing forwards. Just getting that connection with the palm of the hand and the muscles and getting them to press into the floor. So yeah, we are bearing weight on the hands, but pressing the hands into the floor is a slightly different proposition. We'll take another breath and see if we can turn the hands towards us with the thumbs out. The heel of the hand needs to be on the ground. Take the hand as far forward as you wish to increase the stretch in the wrists. But the key is the heel of the hand needs to be on the ground. Move from there, draw the belly in and lift yourself up so you can release the tension out of the wrists. Give them a little shake. Allow yourself to cross your ankles over as you lift up. Move the block out temporarily. Bring your knees together and take feet wide apart. Take your block into a portrait position and allow yourself to sit down into hero's pose. So the toes are pointed backwards. And whilst we're here, we'll let ourselves take the arms out wide. Now bring the right arm across the chest. Use the left arm to get a little bit of a lock in there and draw the shoulder around the chest a little bit. So you're sliding the shoulder blade away from the ribs. Take a last breath out. Float your arms across. Change into the opposite side. Release from there. We'll lift up again. Just move the block out of the way to the side. Allow yourself to sit down directly onto the heels. Knees are about hip distance apart. We'll take the strap. Make sure that you've got the buckle end in one hand, so it's a known quantity. It's not going to slap around and cause an issue at all. We're taking the hands just directly above the shoulders, nice and wide in a Y shape. As you exhale, allow yourself to ease the hands down behind you and bring the strap in towards the back. And then on the inhale, we'll take it back up. So you're going to squeeze the shoulder blades together and try not to bend the elbows. We'll bring the hands all the way forwards again. So strap comes into the waist and then we'll take it over again. Just working our way through gently. See the amount that you take in terms of width is up to you. To get those shoulders over, if they're impinged a little bit, you might have to take them significantly wider than a Y shape. Now let the strap come out of the hands. And try to lean back a little bit so you can place the palm of your hands on the floor, keeping the belly drawn in. You'll take a breath and allow yourself to draw your right hand across the front of your body. And as you start to take the arm out to the side, lift your hips up off of your heels and bring your hands down behind you. Allow yourself to sit gently back down onto the heels. Put the left arm across. Start to lift and press the hips towards the sky. Let the head stay in line with the shape of the spine, so it's not letting it hang down as a dead weight. You want to look after the nerves in the back of the neck and the discs. And last time coming around, lifting ourselves back up. Come into the very front of the mat. Ready for tabletop position, spreading the fingers, knees underneath the hips. We can start to move into cat-cow. Just drawing the chest forwards, shoulders back a little bit, tilting the pelvis, and the spine lift towards the sky. Obviously working with your breath, your speed. So shorter breath, you'll be moving faster. Longer breath, you'll be moving slower. As long as the movements are smooth and fluid, and that you are breathing in and out, and holding your breath. And cat-cow will be doing everything you need. We'll come forwards onto all fours again into neutral. So the chest is a little lifted. We'll take the hands a little wider than the shoulders into melting hearts. So we're going to get a nice line between the hands, the shoulders, the hips. We press the shins into the floor, draw the belly in a little bit, and press the hands down into the ground as if we're trying to push our way back up. Just keeping that nice long line rather than sinking the chest in completely. I want to kind of just work into the shoulders, muscles of the chest. We're building strength rather than stretching them out fully. Use your hands just to walk your fingers back in. As your hips move over your knees, it's easy to come back up onto all fours. We'll take the knees wide, toes together, bring ourselves into child's pose. So just sitting down gently. We'll take it into a prayer position with the hands. We'll bring the palms together and elbows onto the floor. Head to drop in between your arms, so the forehead is on the ground. And try to walk your elbows as far forward as you can. And then allow yourself to bend at the elbows and bring the hands in towards the back of the neck. As you breathe in, you'll feel a strong stretch down the back of your triceps. And maybe some other parts of your shoulders as well. And feel some tight lines down the side of your body as you breathe in. The outer edges, and feel latissimus dorsi muscle stretching a little bit. One more breath here. And inhale, let the hands come to the floor. And we'll slowly lift back up again. We'll take hands about shoulder distance apart, shoulders over the wrists, tuck the toes underneath, and we'll move into down dog. First down dog of the day. The option to pedal the legs out a little bit. Now trying to progressively lift the hips up and back. Allow the spine to get longer and flatter. If you imagine another line from the hips through the shoulders to your hands, that's where we're trying to move to. Belly's drawn in a little bit. Feet are about hip distance apart and parallel. So the heels hide behind the ankles. And there's a gap between the heels and the floor. So there's still room to move into if your body warms up. We'll take this into a down dog with a twist. Take the feet out towards the outside edges of the mat. And then walk the hands in far enough to get the heels finally to the ground. Straight legs. So still maintaining that down dog position. We'll take the left hand away from the floor first of all and cross over to the right. Just turn the body underneath. Pressing the heels into the ground. Pressing the hips high. And that one remaining hand into the floor. Bring the hand back down to the ground. Cross our way over to the opposite side. Bring the hands to the floor. Take a little breath. And let's walk the feet back in. Keep distance apart. Allow ourselves to move the hands gently in towards the toes into a forward bend. We'll soften the knees. Let the spine round a little bit. Shoulders hang. And then on the exhale, we keep that rounded spine as we drive through the legs, drawing the belly in on the exhale, standing up tall. Put the hands towards the sky. Bring the palms together through the heart. Allow ourselves to exhale down to the floor. And soften the knees again. Let yourself relax the spine. Drive through the legs. Lifting up. Inhale high. Hands through the heart. And exhale down to the floor. Take one final ragdoll, squatting down gently. Making it a conscious effort to drive through both legs evenly. We'll shake it out a little bit as we walk into the front end of the mat. Allow ourselves to take the hands behind the back. Just draw them down towards the floor a little bit. Draw the belly in and the ribs down. Take a breath. Allow yourself to hinge over the hips. Softening the knees, taking the weight into the toes a little bit. As you come into the deeper part of the bend, allow the hands to lift up towards the sky. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Allow the head to drop a little bit. Bring the hands back down to the floor. Lift up halfway. Exhale down. I'm going to soften the left knee. Allow the left hand to come out in front about a foot or so. And then take a twist, just drawing the right hand up towards the sky. And allowing the right leg to straighten out slowly. Bring the hand back down gently to the floor as the legs open them out again. And then we'll start to bend into the right leg, right hand down. Take the left arm up. Gradually open out that left leg. And bring the hand back down to the floor. Take a breath, bring the hands onto the hips and let ourselves lift up. Inhale high. Hands above the shoulders this time and just soften the knees. Allow yourself to sit back into chair pose. Bring hands in towards the heart as we take a breath in and wrap the left arm out towards the right thigh. Bring hands back towards the heart. Send the hips high as the head comes down, fingers on the floor into that forward bend. Take a little breath and send the left foot to the back of the mat into a lunge. Allow yourself to bring the left hand to the floor, and we'll take the twist right arm up towards the sky, pressing out through the back heel to a very straight leg, drawing the front knee in towards the center line of the bit, rolling the chest up towards the sky. 2 more breaths. We'll bring hand down to the floor. Take a little breath and drop the back heel in, ready for warrior 2. Hands alongside the body. A little bit of a lift begins as we take the left hand forwards. Using the exhale, we slowly come back up into warrior 2. And carefully extend out over the front thigh. Bring the forearm just into the groin a little bit to put some pressure sideways into the leg. Top arm comes up towards the sky, and then the palm starts to move towards the front of the mat as the hand extends out, and we windmill the arm around. Now, when we windmill, we're just moving through the shoulder really. We're trying to keep the chest open to the long side. Avoid sinking into your bottom shoulder. You want to be lifting the body. And you're pressing both feet down into the floor evenly and feeling the legs fire up. Now the front leg kind of works by itself because of the amount of weight. But the back leg, we want the muscles to feel like they're engaging a little bit as well. We've got one more windmill to come round. And this time we'll bring the hand down to the floor. We'll allow both hands to come into the inside of that front leg. Let the bottom knee down to the floor, untucking the toes. And take the right hand forwards as we spin the right foot out to the side just a little. And then as the hand comes onto the back of the pelvis, we can let the knee hang out to the side and we roll onto the side edge of that foot. A bit of a lizard twist going on. I'll take the hand high again. As we bring the knee a little bit more in towards the body, the hands come either side. We step back into down dog. You take the feet a little bit wider than you think your shoulders are. Turn the heels in a fraction. Allow yourself to walk your hands in. Squat down deep. Keeping the fingertips on the floor. Long spine, knees out nice and wide. Try to relax the shoulders. As you can get the feet flat to the floor, you might need to adjust a little bit. And then we're going to slowly let ourselves lift back up. Bring the palms above the head, hands in towards the heart. Turn the toes towards the front of the mat. Shake it out. Work on the second side. The hands above the shoulders as we breathe in. Soften the knees into the chair. Bring the hands in towards the heart. Rotate over towards the right elbow to the left side. Again, we'll let hands come down to the ground. Lift the hips high into that forward bend. Take a breath, send the right foot to the back of the mat. Drop the heel in, ready for our warrior 2. Hands alongside the body. Right arm lifts out. Slow lift up. Already getting both legs feeling like they're working, pressing into the ground. Relax the shoulders a little. And then on the exhale of your next breath there, extend out over the front thigh. Then that forearm presses in, and we take the top arm up slowly. Get some height in the body, and then we're in the perfect position to start to windmill the arm around. There's a nice line between the head, the hips, and the back foot. And we'll take the last one. Hands come down to the floor on the inside. They start to drop the back knee down to the floor. Twist the front foot out a little bit to the side. Left hand comes up onto the back of the pelvis. So opening the chest, just rolling the knee out to the side, pushing away from the ground so we're not sinking into the shoulder or the elbows. Trying to lift up high. Hand high, spin the front foot, bring the hands out at the side, put the toes on the back, step back into that down dog. Keep your feet nice and wide. Turn the heels in that a little bit. Hands back into a squat. Just wriggle out. Make sure you got your feet flat to the floor. We'll drive through the legs. Let ourselves lift up high from that squat position. Bring the hands above the head, breath in through the heart. Turn the toes in again. And shake it out as we walk into the front of the mat again. Feet about hip distance apart. Inhale the hands high. Bring them through your heart. Exhale just into a soft knee position. Sitting back into the chair. We'll take another revolution of the chair pose. So we'll take the right elbow over towards the left side. Try and draw the spine out. This time we're going to see if we can open up the arms a little bit. So we take a breath in, and then on the exhale, top arm reaches up, bottom arm reaches down. We try and keep the elbow to the outside of that leg, rotating ourselves around. Bring the palms back together. We'll rotate around to the opposite side. And we'll open up again. Last breath. Bring the hands together. Back into the center. Hips go high. Take a little breath. Bring the hands onto the shin. Allow yourself to lift halfway. Now press the feet down. Draw the belly in. Try and relax the shoulders out. And fall down again. We're taking the left foot back this time into the lunge. Left hand to the floor, right arm lifts into the twist. Hands come back down to the floor. Drop the back heel in. Warrior two. Bring the hands alongside your body. Left arm lengthens out. Lift up slow. Extend straight out over the front thigh. Bottom hand comes to the floor, top arm lifts. Take a breath, wrap the arms around the leg and the back into a reverse bind. Press the hips over towards the left side and open the chest. Keeping the back foot pressing down. And you release. Ooh. Come back up a little bit into our warrior two. Swing the arms up above the head, down to the floor. Spin the back heel, drop the knee down, untuck the toes, take a little breath. Toes go out to the side again. We take the twist, hand onto the palm, let the knee hang out to the side a little bit. Bring everything back. This time we'll step in towards the front of the mat, so just pushing off the back toe into that forward bend. Hands onto the hips, let ourselves lift. Take it high. Hands into the heart. Exhale down to the floor. Right foot back into the lunge. Right hand down, left arm lifts into the twist. Just a couple of breaths. Hands come to the floor. Drop the back heel in. Warrior two for lift. And then extend out over the front thigh. Bottom hand all the way down to the ground. Top arm up. And wrapping around into that reverse bind. Send the hips again to the right. With a breathe. A little bit of weight actively pressing down. And the back foot so the muscles lift. We'll release. Back to our warrior two. Float the hands high. Down to the floor. Back knee softens. Untuck the toes. Front toes move out gently to the side a little bit. We take that lizardy knee out to the side. Twist in the lunge. Couple of breaths here. Inhale up. Bring everything back down to the ground again with the hands. Tuck the toes on the back foot. Push off the back foot into that forward bend. Whew. The legs feel like they've done some work. Hands onto the hips, off knees, and we lift up. Inhale high. Bring the hands through the heart. And exhale down to the floor again. This time I'm going to step back into a plank. Just press out through the heels, strong legs, hips as high as the shoulders. Push away from the ground with the hands flat into the floor. Move back into down dog. And we'll see if we can come into a dolphin or a puppy dog. We'll bring the elbows to the ground. If you can walk the feet in a little bit. Come up onto the tippy toes. Support the feedback. Knees to the ground. So enough of that. Hands on the legs out. We're going to come onto the side body. So I'm going to take the left hand out and roll the body onto the center line. So I'm going to stack the hips. I'll just keep the fingers out in front of me a little bit here for extra bit of stability. And take a breath and slowly slide your top foot towards your groin as if you're almost taking tree pose. Then I'm going to lift the hand off that arm that was outstretched in front and bring that hand underneath the back of the sort of skull, the ear, just so it feels safe. And we're going to purposely look towards the side edge of the mat. Now we're trying to keep the hips stacked. So the foot is slightly flexed on that lower leg and we're pressing out through the heel to activate the muscles, but that might feel a little bit trickier for balance. So if you're not feeling the balance today, allow yourself to bend your knee as much as you need to and press that leg down into the floor. And the more surface area you have, the easier it will be to hold your balance. Now, I've still got the strap out to the side of the mat. And if you feel that you won't be able to reach your big toe with your fingers, you're going to make a little lasso hoop with the strap and hook it around your foot. For those that feel that they can do that, whilst the other people are taking hold of the loop and sorting themselves out, we'll take the top hand in and just draw the heel really into the top of the groin and start to lift the knee towards the sky a little bit. So we're really moving into tree pose territory. We'll take another breath and allow ourselves to take the hand around the back of the thigh, hand around the front of the shin, and draw the knee in towards the ribs, the side edge of the body. So we're not just drawing the knee in towards us and letting ourselves come forwards. We're going to try and keep the knee out to the side. And then we'll allow the hand to come on the inside. Now we've opened that up a little bit. And the truth of the pudding is, could we reach the big toe? Now, if you have, take that index finger and middle finger around the toe, get a nice hook, and slowly extend your leg up towards the sky. Now, if you're using the hoop, you want to have your hand as close to your foot as you can so that the arm is straight and the shoulder is relaxed a little bit. But gradually beginning to press the heel of the top leg to the sky. I'm trying to stack the hips 90 degrees to the floor so we're not rolling back into the buttock. And we're trying to lengthen out through the bottom leg. Now, interesting, if you find it very comfortable to get the leg straight and pressing out through the heel, you can also contract the hip bone back down into the hip socket. So the leg is effectively stretching in two ways at the same time, as well as trying to maintain the balance. Take a breath there. Bring the foot gently down. Woo. And I'm just going to bring myself into a little ball and roll over to the other side so that I can still see the clock. So whatever's the easiest way for you to do that, if you ever see a screen. So laying down, center line of the mat, hand outstretched, one leg on top of the other, one hand on in front for a little bit of balance. And maybe slide the top leg in as far as I comfortably can. So a little bit tree-ish. Bring the hand around into that same position. So you want to try and get your armpit as close to the ground as you can. Once you've found your balance, allow yourself to take that hand and draw the heel very close into the groin and the knee high. Remember, we're trying to press the knee behind us, but keep the hips stacked on top of each other. So effectively, you're pushing the hips are going that way, and your knees going the opposite way. And then if you're ready, take the hand around the back of the thigh and hand onto the shin and draw that into the side ribs. So we're trying to keep the hips stacked. So we're starting to imprint the feeling of balance. Muscles that are going to be used when we finally lift the leg high. And we're opening the hip out a little bit as well. And keeping the belly muscles drawn in. Bring the hands again on the inside of that leg. Hoop or no hoop, your choice. And then slowly extend the leg out towards the ceiling. And lower legs down. Ooh. There as well. Lengthen the legs out. Release the arm. Allow yourself to lift back up. Then come to what is my front end of the mat again. Allow yourself to come up onto all fours. You might need to stretch the legs out a little bit. After that. From this tabletop position, we'll take a breath. And we'll thread the needle. We'll take the right arm up towards the sky on the breath in. Follow that underneath and through. Drop the shoulder down to the floor. Now, providing you can press your shoulder into the ground and take some of the strain from the neck, and you feel confident to take the left hand away from the floor, you can towards the sky. And wrap the arm around. Bring your hand towards that right thigh. Turning the chest, looking towards the ceiling a little bit. Pressing the shins into the floor. And we're trying to keep the hips over the center line of the mat. Be conscious if your hips have rolled out to the side a lot. You need to bring them back in. Last breath, we'll bring the hand up towards the sky. Down to the floor. Press away. Take a breath there, and then we'll allow the left hand to come up, opening the body. Quite a lot of twists today through the spine. To the ground. Again, making that choice. Can you press the shoulder down? Do you feel safe in the neck to take the hand higher and wrap around? So you can always keep the hand on the floor in front to help press down. Again, so you're pushing through one hand, one shoulder. We're looking after the neck. It's kind of important. Only got one of those to play with. Lift the hand back up. Bring it to the floor and press away on the exhale. Take one final little down dog, just lifting up. Press the back. Now it should feel nice and wide and strong. The Legs are going to get as open as they're going to get. The hands and the shoulders are going to be as open as they can be. So pressing into the floor, lifting the hips high and back and the belly in. That will feel like the deepest version of down dog for the day. Take one breath in, come into plank to let the knees come down to the floor. And to swing the feet out to the side a little bit. And have both legs come together, sitting on the sitting bones, no block. I'm just going to take the left foot and wrap that across. So I'm going to bring side to side so there's really no gap. I'm unable to get my hand through here. Now bringing the heel towards the hip joint, but you could take it out as far as comfortable. I just prefer to have my foot following the natural line of the bend of my knee and having the foot actually on the mat. Sitting up tall, and take the arms out wide and pressing out through the lower leg as well and flex foot. I'm going to bring the left arm across, right arm over the top. And just bring those into some eagle arms. Release. Tangle the legs. Across the opposite side. So just coming into that half shoelace pose. Start to work out through the long legs, sitting up super tall. Arms come out wide, right arm comes over, left arm over the top. We're into eagle arms again. And we can release. Okay, we'll take the feet about hip distance apart. Allow myself to move my bottom closer towards my heels until it feels like my knees are directly above my heels. Put the chin towards the chest, tuck the tailbone under a little bit. And then allow myself to roll the spine gently down to the floor. Letting the hands come down by the side of the body, palms down. Wiggle the shoulders underneath, and then hopefully you're in that perfect position to start to take bridge pose. I'm going to flow through a little bit just to warm some of the muscles up that we haven't moved in those directions yet. We're going to tuck the tailbone away from the floor as you draw the belly in. Start to press the arms and the shoulders into the floor. Let the hips lift as you press down evenly through both feet. And let the hips rise to the sky. We'll take a breath at the top. Roll the spine gently back down to the floor and a long, deep breath. Breath at the bottom. As you exhale to tuck the tailbone, lift gently away from the floor again. Trying to get to a position where you move slowly with your breath and you can feel literally every bone in your spine lifting them one at a time from the floor. There's a breath at the top, and then with control, roll those bones all the way back down to the floor. Now, as you do this and your legs start to get tired, they might feel like they're rocking around a little bit from side to side. Do your best to press down into the floor and keep those legs activated evenly. So we're not looking for speed. We're not looking particularly for height. What we're looking for is ultimate control and moving through the spine very gently. We'll continue. Time for a few more. Now try and keep the effort even through both legs. It feels like the muscles are doing the same amount of work, including into the glutes. You're going to have to concentrate on how your legs feel. Avoid the knees starting to wander out to the side edges of the mat. So you want to keep your feet directly and knees directly in line with each other. The legs start to get tired. You'll notice which is your dominant leg and how much effort you have to put into focusing on getting the loading to feel even through both sides of the body. Make that the last time coming down. Now wriggle your heels right into the center line and close as you can towards your body. We'll take the left leg in towards the body and interlace the hands around the back of the left thigh. And we'll extend that left leg up towards the sky directly above the hip, whilst trying to press the shoulders down into the ground and the lower back into the floor. Foot down to the ground. Take it to the opposite side. And we'll press the shoulders down, middle and lower back. And then bring everything back down to the floor. The top of the soles of the feet towards each other and let the knees hang out to the side. Just moving the knees down gradually. Try and relax the shoulders, palms of the hands up to the sky. The hands live outside the edges of the body. Take a little breath from there and allow the hands to come underneath the thighs. Just use your fingertips to pull the legs back in a little bit so you get past that sticky point in the hips. Allow yourself to walk your feet out to the edges of the mat and then slide the heels along the floor. into your Shavasana position. Let the legs roll out and side to side, just melt into this mat. And those legs have worked hard. So see if you can now let go and let them sink. Use the effect of gravity and body weight. Let those muscles just relax down. Begin to stretch those fingers and toes. And allow ourselves to begin to move gently through the wrists and ankles. Breathing a little deeper and bringing energy back into the body. Allow ourselves to stretch out in a gentle way. Just follow your instincts as to what feels good. And we'll slide the heels along the mat again to bring the feet in towards the body. You bring the knees in just to take a final little hug. I'm going to keep that really soft. Allow myself to wriggle around on the spine a little bit. And then slowly roll on to the right side. Taking a breath in the shoulder. Using the exhale to press up to come to the postures. Thank you for joining me. Bring the hands in towards your heart. Take the breath in. Eyes are closed. Soft exhale, letting the chin drop. Drawing the belly to the spine, the bow to the floor. On the inhale, we lift the spine. Let head follow, eyes open. Namaste. See you on the mat again soon.